Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for your coronavirus headquarters update. I'm Tyler Jobe. There are new safety concerns about a drug President Trump has touted as an effective therapy for treating coronavirus patients. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
The World Health Organization has paused a trial of the drug hydroxychloroquine over safety concerns. This comes after a study published in the Lancet Medical Journal showed patients receiving the anti-malaria drug had an increased risk of death and heart problems compared to other coronavirus patients.
They're going to stop enrolling for about a week, the hydroxychloroquine arm only, and take a closer look, given the results that were published in Lancet last week at a Columbia University. Makes sense. Make sure that there's no side effects that were missed.
President Trump recently finished a 2-week regimen of the drug after revealing last week he was taking it as a preventative measure.
I think it gives you an additional level of safety, but you can ask many doctors are in favor of it.
The Trump administration is moving up the date of new travel restrictions placed on Brazil as the WHO warns South America could be a new coronavirus epicenter.
We've seen many South American countries with increasing numbers of cases, and clearly there's a concern.
The White House order will now take effect at midnight, impacting non-U.S. citizens who have been in Brazil in the past 2 weeks. It exempts individuals including permanent U.S. residents and their spouses, as well as commerce and trade. On Capitol Hill, the Health and Human Services Deputy Inspector General is briefing the House Oversight Committee on the administration's pandemic response. Democratic leaders are taking aim at the administration's newly released testing strategy, which talks about ramping up efforts, including purchasing 100 million swabs, but still places much of the testing and contact tracing burden on individual states. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The COVID tracking project says there are currently about 400,000 coronavirus tests being conducted each day in the U.S. A report from the Rockefeller Foundation suggested the U.S. needs about 3 million tests per week as soon as possible. Turning to the latest coronavirus numbers in Wisconsin now, more than 15,500 people have tested positive, but 59% of those cases in the state have recovered. 514 people have died. 3 new cases are being reported in La Crosse County and 2 new cases in Eau Claire County. 1 additional case is being reported in TREMPEALEAU County. The TREMPEALEAU County Fair will not be held this year. The fair's board made the decision due to the ongoing pandemic. The county's fairgrounds will remain closed for all events through the end of August. Any youth exhibitors that would normally not be able to participate after this year due to age will be able to participate next year. Fair organizers say they are looking forward to the event to return next year. Wisconsin residents who haven't been able to pay rent during the pandemic could be facing eviction. Today marks the end of a 60-day ban on eviction and mortgage foreclosure in the state. The emergency order was separate from the stay-at-home order, which was struck down earlier this month. In Minnesota, nearly 22,000 people have tested positive for the coronavirus and nearly 900 people have died, but more than 15,500 people have recovered. Some religious leaders in Minnesota believe it's too soon to resume services. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is allowing places of worship to reopen at 25% capacity on Wednesday. The 42 rabbis of the Minnesota Rabbinical Association were unanimous in saying they will not yet open their religious facilities since, quote, the peak of COVID-19 has yet to come, end quote. Meanwhile, the Archdiocese of St. Paul and Minneapolis have made plans to reopen its parishes. Moving to coronavirus cases in Iowa, a little more than 17,600 people have tested positive and a little more than 9,400 have recovered. 466 people have died in the state. Thank you so much for joining us for this coronavirus update. We hope you can join us tonight at 5, 6, and 10. Have a good afternoon.